Sonia Dridi, now based in Washington. Sonia reported for France 24 from Cairo, saw the best and the worst of things back then. Sonia, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. I think it's fair to say, and it's widely reported, you suffered horrible sexual abuse in the crowd in Tahrir Square. How's that left you feeling about Cairo, about the whole issue?
I mean, it was clearly a very disturbing and shocking event, but I think also it happened at the end of 2012, and I wasn't that surprised, I think, when it happened, because unfortunately I knew that it was a terrible phenomenon that happened in Egypt for decades, and especially was more mediatized. I think there were more attention from the media since the revolution. So I interviewed some women who suffer a sexual assault, especially in Tahrir Square. So I also very quickly tried to, know what to do. For instance, to not fall down. And I heard to my colleague Ashraf Khalil, who really helped me to get out of the crowd. So it was very. It was pretty terrible, but it was such a widespread phenomenon at the time. I think in 2013 there was a study from the United Nations that said that 99% of Egyptian women have been harassed in their life. So I was really aware of this terrible phenomenon in Egypt. So. I left for France a few days after what happened, and I came back in Egypt and I actually made a documentary about sexual harassment in Egypt, because it was a subject that I really wanted to know. Why is it such a important phenomenon in Egypt, even comparing to some other country in the region. And I am happy that since 2014 there was a law that has been implemented against sexual harassment, thanks to the pressure of very brave Egyptian women and NGO that have really put pressure on the government. I don't think this law changed so much things in 2014, but I'm really excited to see that the Me Too movement had an impact in Egypt, and especially one young woman who created an account on Instagram, Assault Police. It was a name she chose for this account, and she denounced one of her aggressors, and he has been sentenced to 3 years in jail recently. So I'm relieved to see that some progress have been made, and that Egyptian women also, I think, because and thanks to the revolution, are not afraid and keep denouncing the aggressors. Indeed,
and full credit to you for acting the way you did and going back and journalistically trying to bring about that kind of change. Sonia, there's so much more to you than just this one story. And I know you've written a book on Joe Biden. You're in the middle there of US politics and reporting so well for us on that. Can I ask you about the issue of press freedom and your experiences of how things are in Egypt?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, for me, it's really sad to see that there is no press freedom in Egypt. 10 years after the revolution, I feel that the situation is even worse. I think it was in May 2020 that Lina Atala, that is extraordinary young Egyptian journalist that have been a guest many times on France 24, she created after the revolution this independent newspaper, Madame Asr, and she has been arrested last year. And, the past few years, she managed to do her job, even if it was very difficult. And it was shocking to see her being arrested last year. And she's been released from jail, I think, the day after or in the same night. But it was very symbolic to see that the government, the authorities are not afraid of, what the other countries think, that they don't really care about pressure from the West, for instance, because Lina Atala has been invited to many events, and she's very well known outside Egypt. They don't care. They're ready to arrest anyone that are going against what they want to, the image they want to present from Egypt. So I think they're the only TV and newspaper that are working now are propaganda, and I think it's very sad to see that the situation really didn't evolve on that front, and it's becoming even worse.
Sonia Dridi, thank you very much indeed for sharing your experiences of Egypt with us. Sonia Dridi, one of our team there reporting from Washington, but of course Sonia before that, based in Cairo. And her story, I think, very disturbing, but as she says, it's not an unusual story for women in Egypt, sadly. Let's bring in our guests again.